Hi, this is Crossing the Color Line again with Pat and Letha. And if you are following these and would like to comment, ask a few questions, make a few suggestions, we'd love it. But mainly you need to like us and to subscribe. That's how we get this thing going. And tonight, Letha has some things to say that came up last time, and she made a few notes and she wants to discuss it, and I will chime in where it's appropriate and where she lets me. Okay.
That's right. I think last week we started talking about the relationship between black men and black women and white women and black men, etc. And the reason I think we talk about black men and white women, because that is the group of people who marry out more than the other group. Black men marry other women more than black women marry other men, although that's changing somewhat.
Everything's changing.
Yeah, but it's still black men and white women. Some of the things, not everybody should intermarry. Now, I'm going to tell you that right now. Everybody should not intermarry for some reasons that I will get into pretty soon. One of those reasons is, I think, and I'm 75 years old, and I have worked with white women who date black men, etc., and black women who date white men. White women, in my unscientific poll, seem to often think that they are better than black women. And black men help them, in my opinion, to think that.
What tells you that?
What tells me that is the way black men go on television when they had all of these shows about interracial relations, or just stupid people on TV talking about ethnic groups. And black men often were the ones who put down black women. Black women weren't pretty. Black women were loud. Black women were fat. Black women were this. Black women were that. And I would sit and watch this. And even when white men marry other women, I didn't see this going on with them.
In other words, white men putting down white women.
White women.
When they married outside.
When they married other ethnic group or other races. It, in my opinion, it seemed to be black men who did this much, much more than other men. What do you think?
Wow. Yeah. No, and I'm not going to challenge your observation. When you said that, I immediately thought of that article that I just read. Everyone should read, by, I pronounce it Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi. Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the Atlantic, and you can go online, look up the Atlantic, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Coates, and read the article. It's rather long. Man, that and many, many other articles. The dynamics of African American men,
yes,
and African American women and the white people around them is incredibly complex. And complex. So when Letha says what she says, it throws me back into the terrible, convoluted history of sexual relations between men and women, white and black, and the customs, ideas, stereotypes, etc., surrounding that, religion coming into it. I mean, it is a mess. But anyway, I'll let Letha continue with her observations.
For instance, I have my nephews. I have 4 nephews let's see, one, two, three, three nephews and my son who were married to white women. And my one nephew said to me when he was in college, he said he would go over and talk to a group of black women and they'd just be talking normally. And then somehow, they would ask if he was married because he's good looking. And he said, yes, I'm married and my wife is white. And he said the black women would say, you don't act like you're married to a white woman. And
who is that?
That was, I didn't want to say his name.
Okay.
But he said one of the reasons they said that is that he would go over and talk to the black women. He would laugh with them, treat them like you should treat any women. But from their experiences, from what he said, they told him, they thought that black men who were married to white women ignored them, disrespected them, didn't talk to them, didn't make eye contact with them, and the white women were the same way. Now my thing is, I think black men have often taught white women to treat black women that way. And I'm saying, if you respect who you are, because to me it's more about who you are than who I am. Because if you respect yourself, you're going to respect the black woman who gave you birth, the black grandmother, the black whomever. But I don't see a lot of that going on. And as I said, I was a high school counselor, and I would tell the young black guys that. I said, I don't care who you date. My husband is white. But I don't have to put down black men because I'm married to a white man. I don't have to put down any man because I'm married to a white man. Because I know who I am. My daddy is black. Lots of people that I know and respect, and so are you if you're black.
And I'll go ahead and interject again. I think the stuff you talk about brings up some very deep subjects in this whole business about that approach to understanding this issue that you and I investigated a long time ago.
Yes.
And they have a concept of internalized oppression.
Right.
Where, and this has been documented so much, where the oppressor, whoever the oppressor is, right, tells you who you are. Mm-hmm. And because you don't know any better, you believe it. Right. That's how you're raised, And a lot of people have trouble with the way certain black pastors, like Reverend Wright, Barack Obama's pastor, stressed a black Jesus and then Megyn Kelly with her black Santa Claus her issues. Why is that? It's because people were told, oh my goodness, you are not what should be. What should be is that white figure, that white, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and going directly to this, the prize for any black man in this culture, the prize would be a white woman, because how many blacks were killed simply for someone thought they were interested in a white woman? So
Emmett Till was killed because
we can go on. That's the major. And if you read the Ta-Nehisi Coates article, you'll see his discussion of that. Anyway. But you're raising some real interesting things
a lot of stereotypes about black women that black women get, and African Americans on the whole have gotten, because white people see one group of blacks doing something, it's the whole race. And it's been that way. That's why we still have racial issues. One of the reasons we still have racial issues is because during slavery, now, who was getting up at 3 a.m? And let me digress a little bit. My great grandfather was a slave, And my dad said to me when he was alive, my dad knew his grandfather, my great grandfather, for a short period of time. I think my dad said he was like 8 or 9 when his grandfather, who was the ex-slave, died. And he said the kids used to laugh because great-grandpa Jesse, my great-grandfather, and his name was Jesse, would get up and get dressed.
I thought he went to bed dressed.
No, he would get up and get dressed. And then he would lie down. He would lie back down so that he would be ready when the master called, no matter what time that was. And my dad said the little kids used to laugh because they did not understand why he did that. So I said that to say this. Now, who was doing all of the work? Who was picking the cotton? Now, I'm not saying everybody, because not everybody had slaves. In fact, most whites didn't have slaves. But it was the wealthy who did own the slaves and would sit on the porch with the slaves fanning them and say it was the blacks who were lazy. That has carried through up to 2017. Okay? So when you see one, and if you're white, you need to check this out and you need to learn about black culture so that you're not just saying, oh, all we need is love, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Just because you see one group of black women who are loud and doing this and doing that and cussing and bitch this, bitch that. By the way, I didn't like the movie, what was it? Girls' Night Out or something, because there were too many bitches and too many this and there for me. Because four beautiful black women, and all I heard was bitch this and bitch that, and you know, all lots of stereotypes. All black women are not loud and boisterous, just like all white women are not loud and boisterous. My husband and I have a joke. When we were just in a restaurant the other night, and these women were loud, and my husband and I say they must be black, because what was his name? Bill O'Reilly could not understand that you can't. You can if you're ignorant. Put all of these stereotypes on a whole group of people. And this is what I see black men and white women doing. If I see a group of loud Mexican women, and I have seen them, I don't say all Mexican women are loud and boisterous or this and that and the other. I say that particular group is doing that, just like I say that particular group of whites are doing it, or that particular group of blacks are doing it.
We were in a restaurant the other day. Loud as Mimi's.
Yes.
Loud party, big, pretty big party, family, birthday thing, blah blah blah. Chinese.
Right. If you're a white mom, you will have to deal with these stereotypes, especially with your girls. Okay? So don't think you're going to get a get out of jail free, because you're going to have to deal with this. Now, again, in my experiences, I have found that the society tends to accept white women married to black men more than they accept black women married to white men. There seems to be a difference there. And just recently, my daughter, who is married to a white man, and her kids are still going through the same thing that she and her brother and other white and other biracial children went through in the 70s and 80s and 90s up to now. And she's having to deal with that with her children, because her children are white in color. Okay? So when they meet her or me, they're thrown back. How can you have this white child? And I don't see anything wrong with that, because this is still very unusual. We as African American know there are a lot of quote unquote black people who have white skin. And many whites don't know that. poor things, because that's how, and I'm going to tell you another funny thing. When I was in high school in the 50s and 60s, white girls had flat butts. Okay? Flat butts. And you seldom see that now. You know, in fact, again, my husband and I will say when a white woman walks by and she's got a big butt, we say, oh, she must be black. And the other thing, when I was in high school, white women danced on their toes. And we used to laugh, the black kids used to laugh and say, why are they dancing on their toes?
Now, you know, you may think my wife is, you know, has been thinking about these things or something, but we went to a reunion, high school reunion, her brother's actually, and there were some people sitting at the table, and there were very few blacks there, and
Right.
because we knew them, or she knew them from high school, and her brother knew them, we were kind of sitting at the table. And we got to talking about stuff, and this other woman, I didn't know her, you know, she said, you know, well, okay, since you know, Pat, why is it that these white girls, when we would go to the dances, they'd dance on their toes?
Mm-hmm.
You know? That was a big thing for them. I didn't understand, why would they dance like that, you know? So anyway, and I have plenty to say about dancing and dance styles, music styles, and how those fit into some stereotypes, but that's another issue.
Okay, now, white women and black men need to respect black people. Respect yourself. And if you respect yourself, you're going to respect the black woman who gave you birth. Okay? And by that I mean, you don't have to talk about black women. Because if you're
When
going
you
to
say talk about, you have to explain that.
when I say talk about are the things that I just repeated the black men say. Like many black women wear, what do they call them, weaves. Not all black women wear weaves. And I will say to my husband lots of times, I'll see a black woman and she has long hair, and I'll say to my husband, I'll say, they think that's a weave. It's not. Many black women have long hair. Okay? Not all black women have short, kinky hair. Oh, and let me tell you another story. When Pat and I started going together in 1962, some of my girlfriends would ask me, is he going to see your hair? And I thought that was funny, because I am proud of who I am. I have kinky hair. I said, you know, he used to help me wash my hair. Because you know what? I was proud of my hair. Okay? Because my hair is a part of me. And I'm going to go around trying to keep a perm on my hair all the time to make him think my hair. He knows my hair is kinky. Again, not all black women's hair is kinky. My daughter has a different grade of hair because she's biracial. But sometimes that doesn't work. And I think I alluded to it last week when you see white mothers and their little kids' hair is sticking all over the head because they don't know what to do with it, and they don't have, I don't know if they talk to their black mother-in-laws or their black sister-in-laws or whomever to say, can you help me with my child's hair? But that's what happens. Go ahead.
We are at the end of our
Oh,
show.
are we?
Yeah.
Oh, we have 2 minutes. So if you're in, I alluded to a few minutes ago that you need more than love. You know, like sometimes when I'm pissed off at him, I'll say, okay, now why did I marry him? What? It's because,
I mean, good looks take you only so far.
only
you know?
so far, especially after you've been married a while, you'll find out that no, it takes more than love. Okay? You need to know something about that person, because it's not the love things that's going to piss you off. It's going to be the fact that he doesn't let the toilet down. It's that he leaves his clothes on the floor. It's all of the things in a normal marriage, any marriage, and that's going to piss you off. So, now, what I've taken to doing recently is when I see a white woman with a little brown child, I will go up, and she's ignored me and looked all over me. I will go up to her and say, hi, my name is Letha Barrett, and I'm just wondering why you didn't make eye contact with me. And most of the time they'll say, "Oh, I didn't." I say, "No, you didn't." And I'm just wondering why. And they'll say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Okay, then I'm making you aware that you have just ignored me."
Walked over me.
Yeah, walked over me, and I see you have this biracial child. Well, my husband, I've been married for 50 some years, and they'll go, "Really?" I said, "Mm-hmm." I said, "So when you do that, you don't know who's married to someone else. But just out of respect, look at the black woman and say hello, okay?" That goes a long ways in any relationship. You know that you've been ignored, or you can have a white person look at you like we do. We can tell anytime someone looks at our relationship and they are disapproving. You've been through that too. If you're married to
little
a
cashier at Fry's today think we were separate or something.
yeah, she thought we were separate.
I mean, it happened.
Yeah,
and I don't. It's just that. If I'm standing right next to you and I got my hand in her purse, you might think there's a relationship, but because, some people, the color says, "Oh no, they can't be together." It's
well,
strange.
and to me that's normal.
So
he and I
those are normal things. We don't
talk about that. You don't see, even though people think, because they see people on TV and everywhere, that everybody sees this. No, interracial marriages is still very small, and people do not see it, especially somebody our age.
There's a little group on the internet called "We Are the 15%." You might Google that, because it's we haven't come on it yet, but they're different interracial couples, different combinations. We need you to please like us, to subscribe, and again, I ask you to please make comments, questions, blah blah blah. Okay.
Good night.
Bye bye.